Hey, it's on Tuesday.
Believe it or not.
Yes, forget normality and let loose on Tuesday. With Tina Arena performing live from her new album.
It's joy for the young and the young at heart.
At the special time, 8 o'clock Tuesday.
Goodbye, this road from a country lost without your soul, who missed the wings of your compassion more than you will ever know.
A family's grief unites the world as Diana is laid to rest.
The extraordinary and irreplaceable Diana, whose beauty, both internal and external, will never be extinguished from our minds.
The tearful final farewell. Good evening. Britain has never seen anything like it before. Millions lined the streets of London to farewell their princess, joined by billions of fellow mourners watching around the world. Like their mother's extraordinary life, the princes, William and Harry, touched millions of hearts as they followed Diana's coffin into Westminster Abbey. Mark Burrows begins our coverage.
To the cries of a crowd so overwhelmed with grief, Diana, Princess of Wales, was carried to a family funeral with the world invited. On a brilliant summer's day in London, the city fell silent as Diana's coffin, embraced by the flag of the royal family, left for Westminster Abbey through a sea of mourners and tears. As the coffin passed, it was like the crowds couldn't let go. Thousands followed as the gun carriage quietly rolled towards the Abbey.
This just captures everybody. Never in my lifetime or my daughter's lifetime will we see this again. It's a tragedy.
Not everyone had the strength to follow. As the cortege moved past the crowds, 10 to 20 deep, some remained motionless, unable to speak, left staring in disbelief. For the thousands who lined the route, saying goodbye was a deeply personal affair. Diana was not only a princess, but above all, a real person who was so many things to so many different people.
Diana of love. What a wonderful epitaph.
And no one was immune from the enormity of it all. At Buckingham Palace, a rare roll call of the House of Windsor. The family that once shunned Diana paid its respects, and at the same time seemed stunned by the scale of it all.
And the royal family there, immediately behind the coffin.
Further down the Mall, Princes William and Harry bravely took their positions in the funeral march with Diana's brother, Earl Spencer, the Duke of Edinburgh, and Prince Charles.
Impossible to put into words as they take their place behind their mother's coffin.
While the world had lost a friend and the nation a princess, it was a card placed by Harry on the spray of white lilies that reminded everyone two boys had also lost their mother.
Mummy, says the sign, just Mummy.
William and Harry were a picture of control as they walked down the traditional procession route of British monarchs. The future king, just 15, and his 12-year-old brother. Two young men, dry-eyed, a picture of solemn dignity through the silent streets of London.
The princes are a credit to her. Yeah. They are just fantastic. She'll live on in him. She'll live on in him.
The Princess of Wales would have been proud of her two sons. She would have also approved of the 500 people falling in behind them, all representing the charities she was associated with. Diana was also a woman who touched the world, and so from around the world they came. Hillary Clinton, from Hollywood, Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, Tom Cruise and wife Nicole Kidman, and Imran Khan and his wife Jemima, a close friend of Diana. Shortly after, a clearly distraught Luciano Pavarotti arrived, supported by two women. And then Mohammed Al Fayed, whose son Dodi died with Diana in Paris 6 days ago. The Duchess of York, once one of Diana's closest friends, arrived with Prince Andrew.
Albino's adoption.
The Queen, the last to arrive, with the Queen Mother, looking especially frail, devastated by the loss of a princess who had idolised her. Then, with a nation holding its breath, Diana's body arrived at the 900-year-old Abbey. Rarely had it been the focus of such emotion. As Big Ben rang in the 11th hour, the body of the People's Princess was carried across the cobbles and into the Abbey. It was a Spencer family affair through and through. In a voice hauntingly like Diana's, her sister, Lady Jane Fellows, read a poem entitled Time.
Time is too slow for those who wait, too swift for those who fear, too long for those who grieve, too short for those who rejoice. But for those who love, time is eternity.
Then a rock superstar gave his anthem for a princess. Elton John singing his reworked classic, Candle in the Wind, the most difficult performance of his life.
Goodbye, this road from a country lost without your soul, who missed the wings of your compassion more than you will ever know. And it seems to me you've lived your life like a candle in the wind, never fading with the sunset when the rain set in. And your footsteps will always fall here along England's greenest hills. Candles burned out long before your legend ever will.
Diana's brother, Earl Spencer, gave a heartfelt tribute to his sister.
Diana was the very essence of compassion, of duty, of style, of beauty. All over the world, she was a symbol of selfless humanity, a standard bearer for the rights of the truly downtrodden, a very British girl who transcended nationality, someone with a natural nobility who was classless, and who proved in the last year that she needed no royal title to continue to generate her particular brand of magic.
A time normally reserved for platitudes, Earl Spencer used the occasion to attack the press.
It is a point to remember that of all the ironies about Diana, perhaps the greatest was this. A girl given the name of the ancient goddess of hunting was, in the end, the most hunted person of the modern age.
And then what some later called calculated vengeance, this for the Queen and other members of the royal family sitting nearby. A promise for his sister.
I pledge that we, your blood family, will do all we can to continue the imaginative and loving way in which you are steering these two exceptional young men, so that their souls are not simply immersed by duty and tradition, but can sing openly as you planned. Above all, we give thanks for the life of a woman I'm so proud to be able to call my sister. The unique, the complex, the extraordinary and irreplaceable Diana, whose beauty, both internal and external, will never be extinguished from our minds.
Then a flicker of applause in the Abbey spreading to the thousands listening in parks and gardens outside. With that, Diana, Princess of Wales, left for her family home, allowing her two sons to make their long, private goodbye. Mark Burrows, National 9 News, London.
The 2 million people who lined the route through central London have long since gone, each taking with them a little piece of their cherished princess. If anyone needed proof of Diana's extraordinary appeal, it was seen in the tearful faces of the many ordinary people she never met, but whose lives she changed forever.
The roads across Britain not closed, just empty. In towns and villages across the nation, a normally bustling Saturday morning had given way to silent tribute. Everyone had an appointment with history. There'd been a death in the family. No one could really know how many would make the journey, but by dawn, hundreds of thousands were flooding the capital, joining those who'd camped for days along the route. Thousands more spilling into Hyde Park, where giant screens relayed images of their princess before them for the very last time.
How do you think you'll cope with the day?
It will be difficult, but it's part of my duty, so I shall cope as best as I can.
I bet you won't hear a pin drop when it goes quiet.
As she edged through the streets, Diana, as always, entranced them. But suddenly it was her boys, the Princes William and Harry, now overseeing their mother.
The two princes began the week as boys and they've ended it as men.
At a time when royalty seemed lost, out of touch, 2.5 billion across the world watched Diana's legacy, the very future of the monarchy.
I admire them for it. I think it was very courageous. And for them, I'm sure it was the right thing to do. They wanted to be with their mother right through to the very end.
When what they had come here for, prepared for all week, eventually began, it was for many simply too much. A farewell they had never imagined. No one had this early. The sea of faces stretching across Britain shed tears as though Diana was a member of each and every family in the land. Anyone who doubted for one moment that one woman could mean so much to so many could not escape that truth today.
Goodbye, England's rose. May you ever grow in our hearts. You are the grace that placed yourselves where lives were torn apart.
What may well become Diana's anthem was piped from Westminster Abbey throughout central London, street after street, floating across the capital's famous parks, soundtrack for a nation's grief. Then it was time for perhaps the simplest yet most powerful show of love a country can bestow. One full minute's silence, honoured in every corner of the kingdom. No one wanted the final moment to come, but everyone knew it had to. Diana, Princess of Wales, leaving the place that shaped and helped destroy her life, saying goodbye to the royal palaces, to the endless headlines, to the people who had believed in fairy tales. She slipped away from a United Kingdom that late today was trying to return to normal, but knowing it never can do. Daniel Blyde, National 9 News, London.
When we return, the journey ends. Diana returns home to her final resting place.
On 60 Minutes, the future of the young princes. And exclusive, Elton John.
She had a very wicked giggle. She had a very wicked sense of humour.
His special friendship with Diana.
She would have, no idea how much people loved her. She's irreplaceable. Irreplaceable.
Also, the big lie. The deadly secret of tobacco companies exposed.
They knew smoking caused cancer.
But in Australia, the corporate cover-up and deceit continues.
Liz, it's being entirely boring.
Toyota presents 60 Minutes, 7:30 tonight.
Which car performs so well on the road, it's gone on to perform even better off the road? Which car is so well balanced and reliable to drive around town, it's being driven to extremes around the world? What rally-based production car is available from $17,990 drive away? If you're looking for an answer, you're looking for a Lancer.
Now, Raymond, should you call Rams Home Loans now if you're looking for a better home?
Yep.
An investment property?
Yep.
Upgrading your existing property?
Yep.
So, Raymond, you might say it's a good time to get a better home because it's a good time to get a better home loan.
Yep.
Well, you've been very informative as usual, Raymond, haven't you?
Yep.
I see, yep. Rams Home Loans, 1800 069 070. You will do better at Rams.
Nice questions, Bruce.
Thank you for your answers.
Right now, Jetset has exclusive upgrade deals to locations all over the world, like Bali for 5 nights flying Qantas return from $879, including a free hotel upgrade to the Bounty Hotel, or Los Angeles for 6 nights flying Qantas return from $1,649 with a free upgrade to the Ramada Conestoga Hotel, or Singapore for 4 nights flying Qantas return from $799, including a free upgrade to the Boulevard Hotel. So wherever you want to fly, call Jetset on 133 747 for the best deals in the world.
A strong safety cage, ABS brakes, driver and passenger SRS airbags, independent multi-link rear suspension. The new Magna Advance. Safer in testing conditions.
Diana's life and tragically her death were spent in full view of the world. It was perhaps fitting then that the final goodbye should happen far away from the prying lenses on the Spencer family estate where she grew up.
London had bid its farewell. It was time for the cortege to head north. Time to take Diana home. The M1 motorway afforded a little more space and allowed for an essential stop.
Covered in flowers. You can't go on a motorway with your car covered in flowers, whatever your car is.
On any other day, this is Britain's busiest motorway, but not today.
Just a lone hearse on its way to Diana's final resting place.
The crush came from the sidelines, thousands surging forward for kilometre upon kilometre. The greys of city cement giving way to the greens of English countryside. Along laneways Diana once travelled as a teenager.
The people of Northamptonshire welcoming one of their own back home.
Here in Northamptonshire is her place and we're here to welcome her home today.
I appreciate Princess Diana, so I'm going to see if I can get these flowers on the car.
A moment a young boy may never forget. The Queen did not make the journey. She headed back to Balmoral. After a very public day, Prince Charles, Prince William and Prince Harry arrived for the private burial. At journey's end, the driver was straining to see under a blanket of bouquets. The final turn, the final sight of the People's Princess. Her final homecoming had come far too soon.
Goodbye, England's Rose.
So Diana, Princess of Wales, Diana, Queen of Hearts, has been laid to rest. Her remarkable 36-year journey ending in much the same way as it began, surrounded by family in a slice of idyllic English countryside, well away from the glare of strangers. Mark Ferguson, National 9 News, Northamptonshire.
Meanwhile, half a world away, mourners are flocking to view the body of Mother Teresa, who died of a heart attack in Calcutta, aged 87. Her body has been moved from her Missionaries of Charity convent and will lie in state at a nearby church until she is given a state funeral next Saturday. Briefly in other news, a young foreign backpacker has been murdered in King's Cross. 25-year-old Yuri Zufal was battered to death, possibly with an axe, at about 7 o'clock last night.
There's something like at least 7 blows around the head of Yuri.
The victim from the Czech Republic had been in Australia only 3 days. Ken with sport is next, and Newcastle a step closer to the grand final.
In a real tough match against Parramatta this afternoon, we'll have that and Pat Rafter favourite to win the US Open.
And he's done it, folks. He's done it.
I don't believe this.
Tonight, a
The revolutionary new Camry 4 and 6. Seeing is believing.
7.5 kilo washers. Want to know who makes one of the quietest? Easy. Hoover.
So which one has a 4-star energy rating?
And a AAA water rating? Hoover. Hoover.
Hoover.
And which one is made right here in Australia? You guessed it. Hoover.
If that's all true,
then why do some people still buy imported washers? Seems like Hoover is the intelligent choice.
For all Australians.
Okay, sir.
Could you tell us the best way to get to Lakes Entrance?
Certainly. All you do is drive straight down this road, turn left at the winery. That'll take you past the second-hand stores. When you see the B&B, take a left. And when you're close, the locals will come out, and you'll find it at the end of the lakes. Of course, if you wanted to do something on the way, you go through the tall timber, then turn left.
You'll love every piece of Victoria. Once, this was the most excitement you could have in a car. That was then. This is now. This is Chrysler Neon. It has a sporty 16-valve 2-litre engine, standard equipment dual airbags, air conditioning, and unique cab forward styling. So, if you're looking for excitement, just drive it. Neon from Chrysler. What's new in your world?
It took hard yakka to bring you this sports report.
For the first time in 23 years, Australia has a finalist at the US Open tennis, following Patrick Rafter's sensational win over Michael Chang. He'll play Britain's Greg Ruzetsky, who beat Sweden's Jonas Bjorkman in a 5-setter, while Rafter trounced the American in 3.
Armed with the tools of his trade, Patrick Rafter's work schedule has been heavy. And against Michael Chang, he got to work quickly.
Oh, yes.
Rafter had lost 5 of his 7 previous clashes against the world's #2, but the Australian has been going through a purple patch of form, aiming for his 6th final of the year.
Yes.
Ponytail Pat soon had Chang on a string, taking pace off the ball in rallies, and crisp work at the net gave Rafter the first 2 sets.
The volley has just been too good. I've never seen Rafter play that first volley as well.
Chang then produced the unconventional and the brilliant to get a grip on the match in the 3rd.
Well, this is the shot of the tournament.
Yep. But the fight back was brief. Rafter suppressed it and became the first Australian since Ken Rosewall 23 years ago to play in the final.
Has taken this crowd to heart. They love him.
He'll face Greg Ruzetsky, aiming to become the first British man since Fred Perry in 1936 to win the American title.
He's got it.
Down 2 sets to 1, Ruzetsky overcame Sweden's Jonas Bjorkman in 5 sets.
6-1.
Charles Christian, National 9 News.
Newcastle continues its impressive run in the ARL Finals campaign, beating Parramatta at the football stadium today. After being down 18-0, the Knights came back to win 28 points to 20.
Newcastle couldn't have made a worse start. From the kick-off out on the full to 3 quick-fire Parramatta tries. Jason Bell had a big hand in the Eels' first 4-pointer, while the slow-mo shows he didn't quite have a grasp of the ball for his own try.
A dead set hint of a knock-on.
Down 18-0, Newcastle stiffened up the middle and gave the ball a workout themselves. By half-time, the lead had been reduced to 2. A weaving, ducking Andrew Johns showed all his class after the break.
Andrew Johns, 10 metres out, step straight for step.
When another mistake behind the line sealed Newcastle's win. The ref thought Grogan got a hand to the ball, but again watched the replay.
No way, no. That's a tragedy, honestly.
Last night, Brisbane and Cronulla played for a berth in Super League's grand final, but not before thoughts were cast on the Princess. The Sharks were a major disappointment. The result settled in the first 40 minutes.
Oh, it's Reynolds! It's all over! Reynolds!
The Broncos cross for 6 tries to 0, 5 of them coming before half-time.
Another try. It is for Michael De Vere.
Brisbane won 34 points to 2 and sent a shiver through the other contenders.
Peachy has lost it. Is this
Clinton Fletcher, National 9 News.
And the Patrick Rafter match around about 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, so get up early. Oh, you're used to that.
Go, Pat. Thanks, Ken. The weather is next, then a final tribute from Elton John.
Monday on A Current Affair, the amazing transformation of Bronte.
Quite an incredible difference.
The battle to save the teenager who refused to eat.
Where's the fat?
2 years on, look what's happened.
I'm much better than I was before.
An inspiring story you shouldn't miss.
It's a bit like holding a new baby.
Plus, armed and dangerous.
This is a small one.
Lethal weapons in our schoolyards.
If they've got a knife, somebody's going to die.
When Nissan presents A Current Affair.
Australians have always known it. There's nothing tougher than hard yakka.
How do you improve a car that has already won 2 Car of the Year awards? You make it simply exhilarating. You make it simply breathtaking. You make it a joy to drive. Introducing the all-new, fully imported Mazda 626. It's simply better.
60 years ago, a man pursued his vision toward clearer images. If only he could see what it would lead to. A range of quality business solutions for all your document processing needs. Buy a Canon copier or Laserfax and enjoy our 60th anniversary offer. No deposit, no interest, no repayments until March 1st, 1998. It's all in our Business Solutions catalogue. For your free copy, call 1-800-242472.
I wonder where the wise investors have been heading for wealth-building performance? And who to ask about Australia's smartest managed investments? Ask Macquarie.
How do you improve a car that has already won 2 Car of the Year awards? You make it simply safer. You make it simply quieter. You make it simply roomier. Introducing the all-new, fully imported Mazda 626. It's simply better.
On 60 Minutes, the future of the young princes. And exclusive, Elton John.
She had a very wicked sense of humour.
His special friendship with Diana.
She would have, no idea how much people loved her.
Next on 60 Minutes.
A dry and partly cloudy day in Sydney with a top of 19 in the city, 21 inland. Tomorrow will be fine with gusty winds, a top of 20 in the city, 21 in the west. Around the country, fine in the north and the centre, but showers elsewhere. And looking ahead, fine in Sydney until Thursday. And that's the news this Father's Day. Stay with us now for 60 Minutes. I'm Ian Ross. Good night.
And your footsteps will always fall here along England's greenest hills. Your candles burned out long before your legend ever will.